Welcome! Wait! Mon Amy's such a dumb child.
Hey! Hey!
That's... Anyway... Bye-bye!
I won't let you!
Hey! Huh?
Damn it!
Well... How about it?
What do...
See?
I'm gonna do it! What?
Hey!
No.
That's...
Well now.
Yoo-hoo!
Now then, during the class trial, if you vote correct, I'll punish everyone besides the... Oh, well.
I don't mind starting the trial, because...
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But Nagito's not alone.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that? Listen up! The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't... Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Haji...
Then, let's start with when we split into the hospital team and motel team. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened. Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms. We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery, I made Mikan rest in the on-call room since she hadn't slept all night, while I waited in the hospital lobby. And then, I saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, a video of someone wearing a hospital gown and a hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder.
Amazing! That's such a...
I tried to stop them. I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling. I thought I should tell the others right away, so I headed to the motel.
Why the motel?
because it was close to the music venue. At least,
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our sight.
After I rested for a bit, and then I noticed Ibuki. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko.
Various ways?
Don't say it like that and confuse people.
after I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag. So I immediately led them to the music venue.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the four of us broke down the door. And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hyoko's. And not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Well, it's clear what the problem with this case is. When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true? Sorry, I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want.
Lie? Why would I lie?
Obviously. So you could make a...
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, come on, try to... Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime is the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously, because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill...
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault. Hajime's testimony.
If Hajime's... Then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also... I don't think I can... After all...
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously...
Did Hajime...
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie.
No, that's wrong! I'm not the killer! I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Of course you're not. I already knew that.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had... Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't that right, Monokuma?
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime... Or did anyone tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
Hold on a sec! You're the one who brought this up in the first place!
Nagito, what are you doing?
Well, since we're opening with your... It also provides...
What warm-up? This isn't a game, you know.
Don't get mad. I just...
What a waste of time. Well, I knew it would turn out like this anyway. Now then, since we know Hajime's testimony is reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it! Ibuki committed suicide!
If Ibuki committed suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidence?
Like I said before, it's... The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone. So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
Then let's ask Hajime.
I couldn't have been gone for more than...
So they killed Hiyoko and taped...
That's why the killer stalled for time. What? The killer blocked the venue door from...
However, if they blocked the door from the...
Yeah, you're which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious... And that's you two! Sonia and Kazuichi!
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
The others all have alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Gundam met up with Hajime at the and if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. Me too!
Hey, why are you talking like... Huh? You're kidding, right? Please stop.
Anyway, if the killer was hiding inside the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall! Is this his professional skill?
The killer was still inside the music venue by locking the door from the inside.
No, that's wrong! Hold on a second. There's also a possibility
From the out...
there was a semi-transparent glob stuck to the venue door. Maybe that's what they used.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe?
I see! That semi-transparent glob must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah. It had a firm, gel-like base on all that.
I didn't know glue was edible.
I believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to by pouring it in the gaps of the
And thanks to that, But if you just stick them, that doesn't really matter. First of all, it was so obvious.
Are you saying the drums then
Apologize to Miss Sonia!
In a quarrel, both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
And they also taped her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime, they must have done it early.
But when Hajime got to the venue...
And when you went back with everyone else. But it's possible that... Of course, the Here, I have... That's right, but...
Part of... In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap. There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so...
You're right. See?
I see.
So this... And what's wrong with that? Does it...
A mere nobody like... But if you guys were
It's all coming together! Got it! Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
But it would have taken quite...
No, the body was already taped up in the...
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper... So when I first discovered Ibuki's body... However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Well, that's understandable.
So they used the baton lighting on the...
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle around the pillar.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body.
But the killer made a mistake, and because of that, a scrap...
The killer must have been in a hurry,
But going to the trouble...
but the crime itself would be much easier to pull up. They just have to peel... Then, good point. It's about time we shed...
You meant...
Are you kidding?
Hey! Don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission!
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
I don't eat mothballs. I knew it!
Ibuki's death, not just that.
It's as if both...
But why did the killer go to all...
Based on what we know, the reason... I see!
The reason the killer imitated two of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. I'm not...
I'll let you sob as much...
Oh, I see.
And even big...
Look, Ibuki, that means...
What's wrong with...
But, it seems that would mean Hiyoko...
Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being a...
First, Ed, how can a...
Because she was doing something that...
It seems you... You're one...
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor. When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet...
I am telling you to... Did you see her walk?
If her feet were, was there any sign she stepped? Were there even any...
Maybe her feet were on it, but she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark.
Weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet...
I am telling you to present... Did you see her walk?
If her feet were, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any...
Maybe her feet were on it, but she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak eyes. It doesn't even pierce my heart.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walk?
If her feet were, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were on the floor, but she was like sitting there. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass.
Weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor. When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet...
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you...
see her walking?
If her feet were, was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that. Just as Sonia said, that something was blood.
That is not Ibuki's blood.
Then it's Hiyoko!
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal
If Ibuki's...
It means Ibuki was still, which means
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye! Does that mean what? Or you're so... However... You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belongs... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about what did you see, a nice nightmare? You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about one... Did you see, a nice nightmare? You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
allow me to cut through those words. That's not it. The reason there was...
Don't say...
Yes. You look close.
When the killer tried, Ibuki must have already stepped in it. And the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hiyoko's body was... Actually, the bleeding was stopped aside from Miko. That's right!
If the time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma...
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that... Fine then.
Can't you just shut up and back?
Now then.
Wait a sec.
Huh? Again?
Hey, if the victim actually...
The same as always. Think about it. Unfortunately, that one...
Nagito? What?
Well, I mean, I understand. For example, that's totally impossible. She was afflicted by the...
But if Ibuki's the killer, after Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of the killer had to...
Then she... When Hajime first discovered, if she waited until Hajime... She hanged herself!
And if her body would have been...
There's no doubt that someone... There's... If Ibuki didn't commit suicide... According to that video you saw, then does that mean...
Forrest?
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
So, then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, but just to be sure...
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camp.
What time?
I saw it at the hospital, and I saw the body of...
And since we established that means the time...
Now then, I shall issue...
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the other?
Right before the morning, I was totally sleeping in my mouth.
I think everyone at the...
So everyone is stated... What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be. That's not enough.
Aside from those afflicted, if nobody has an alibi, Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the...
Right before the morning, I was totally sleeping in my motel.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone is stated that... What about you guys? I was where I was supposed... That's not...
Aside from those afflicted, if nobody has an alibi, then...
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel.
I think everyone at the...
So everyone is what about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be. My own cottage.
That's not an
Aside from those afflicted, if nobody has an alibi...
No, that's wrong! Hold on. Not a... In fact,
You...
up until I saw that hanging...
Hey!
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like that!
And we went to the hospital.
I get it.
If that's the case,
It's better if we... The killer decided to...
So it's an...
It feels like...
But faking the time the crime occurred by false... Was that the only...
Are you saying...
I feel really bad. I think the killer had a complete...
Hiya!
Stop it!
What a...
I'm Monami. Once again, seriously, we were supposed to have a No! This definitely... Everyone, do your very...
Huh. Did I confuse...
Man.
If that's the... If that happened...
Well,
That rule is too... Seriously, just...
But I'm thinking about it again.
Because they didn't kill 3 people?
It's not just that. About the...
That's the one Hiyoko...
But Hiyoko's body was suspended. Maybe they just... Well, that's probably it. If falsifying, they should have taken steps to...
but if we never realized it was...
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying... It's not just the...
Strange detail.
Like, for example...
So, you...
I have no freaking clue!
However,
Why did Hyoko go to the news? And there's a way you'd know that...
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's known, maybe she got abducted.
No, maybe she went of her own free...
or she was guided by the will of causality.
Why did Hyoko go to the news? And you... There's a way you'd know...
Maybe the killer... If that's known, maybe she got abducted.
No, maybe she went of her own free will.
I agree with that! It's just as Sonia said.
So,
If no one called for her, then why did she go?
Hyoko locked herself in her room because she would... I don't think a person like that...
There's no way...
Hyoko locked the room.
If she was forcibly taken from her room, there's no way she would have had time to lock it.
The killer could have locked her door, right?
Then they couldn't have hidden her room key. That otherwise, there's no point. At the time,
I won't lose. Are you saying my gut was wrong? This could be my first and... No! Shut up! Hyoko was locked inside her room. She definitely got abducted or something. The killer forced their way into Hyoko's room. Forcibly abducted her! The girl is so small and weak-looking. And that's why the killer targeted her.
I can't back down!
Hyoko was locked inside her room, right? She definitely got abducted or so. The killer forced their way into Hyoko's room. Forcibly abducted her! The girl is so small and weak-looking. And that's why the killer targeted her.
But Hiyoko's room was locked.
The key was deep inside her It's more likely that the killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later. The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later. The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later. The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later. The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later.
There's no reason for the killer to put the key in. The killer probably didn't realize she...
Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono... There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer! That's the proof she was abducted. My gut is totally right after all! The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later. The killer was the one who locked the door. So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later.
There's no reason for the killer to put the key in Hiyoko. The killer probably didn't realize...
Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono was all messed up.
Crap!
Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono was all... There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer! That's the proof she was abducted, right? My gut is totally right after all! Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono... There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer!
Crap!
Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono... There's only one reason her kimono would be that messed up. She fought the killer!
Allow me to cut through those words! The reason Hiyoko's kimono was messed up was because she wasn't able to properly wear it.
Wear her kimono?
Yeah, it's also the...
Hiyoko seemed to be really struggling with wearing her kimono. I believe that was one of the reasons she locked herself in her room. That is why I informed her. I told her that there was a full-length mirror at the music venue. Then, the reason...
Yeah, she went to...
I get it. I lost. Boil me, burn me, take off my clothes. Do whatever you want to me.
Hajime, now's your chance. Make...
Then,
Though
I knew she would go there, there is...
Don't go doubting this...
Do you want me to
Gundam, please stop! For his sake!
Of course.
Even if the killer could...
The only thing I can think of... When she went to the venue by herself,
She was killed, so there...
it probably happened. The killer most likely had a...
Killed.
Because the killer...
That's the reason they imitate...
Which means that look...
Then what was the killer... They've been cunning this... Do you...
Damn, we don't know the...
Hey, Nagito.
Hey, how long... Oh, am I...
So what...
I was thinking about it while I had my mouth. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I thought there might be a... But now I remember. So if she faked her death, there'd be... So that's why I...
You know, we already...
That's annoying. Are you freaking kidding me?
That's strange.
This is strange? What's strange?
prove it with this! If Ibuki used the stepladder to hang herself... Yeah, that stepladder was complete.
Did you notice?
But didn't you say you saw that video of Ibuki climbing the stepladder? Then I think unless there was...
I see. So,
But that's something only
Hajime, as long as I leave this to you...
Yeah, I'll definitely... Here! That's right, I remember now.
Can you explain it?
What's strange is that step... It's true that the steps of... There was a bloodstain. However, that... There weren't any bloodstains on...
That is truly strange. If the video showed the moment...
Even so, the fact is the stepladder in the video was completely bloodless.
And there's no way the video would...
It's possible those two...
Wait, are you saying there were 2 step ladders?
but where would you find another
Then one of the stepladders was somewhere other than the music venue. What do you mean?
You're suggesting that this... That's amazing, Chiaki!
mean the video. It was filmed somewhere else.
But the hospital monitor is supposed to display...
Then, there's a possibility.
We will never give up! It's all coming together! That's it. The killer just brought the camera with him. They made...
Then only the
Yes. But when Hyoko's body...
That means you should have realized that from the start.
He did discover the body.
Well, that's... In order to hide the... I see! the killer smacked. As long as it was in, my attention was so focused on.
And the moment Hajime left the...
And they destroyed it.
It's easy to say,
Despite Kazuichi's desk,
the fact that it was able to...
But the hospital and the mute.
That's exactly why the killer did something.
There's no way the conference room and the music venue.
Which place was it? Did the conference room look like the... Or did the music venue look like the...
Or did they make some kind of sound?
or they might have tampered with the camera.
I still can't believe. Hajime, you're pretty stupid.
There's no way the conference room and the music venue look the same.
Which place resembled... Did the conference room look like the music... Or did the music venue look like the conference room?
That must be it! What the killer did make the music. They did that by using the black...
From what I remember, there used to be a really flashy curtain. But after the incident... it somehow became a play.
That's
Oh yeah! That curtain was hung in actuality. It is a black...
I see. The conference room. Indeed. The same color. So the...
Imagine floor. But that's not all.
I can prove it with this! You're referring to the can... And the music venue has good lighting.
But...
That might have been another reason. The lighting in the... That's why the killer...
Which means... that candle was likely placed...
With candlelight, with that cheap-ass camera?
As long as this all the video I saw, what...
if I'd found proof that... But it appears...
But there's no mistake.
The motel would have been too far.
But this must be a... You never suspected that...
The incident isn't happening. If Ibuki's head, then was Ibuki?
No. Right after Hajime saw...
I see! The person wearing the hint bag in the... It was... The killer put on a hospital gown, wore a hint bag on their...
By that time,
The actual time.
If they took Ibuki from the music,
But why did they...
The reason the killer... There's only one... Then naturally, the...
Huh?
You fiend! Or
You're the only one! Miko, you're the killer, aren't you? Like I said, aren't you?
I'm the killer?
Hey, a chick like her is the killer?
A clumsy slowpoke like...
But we're the hints of that video.
An alibi?
now that you mention it,
It's...
But you're the only one who could have filmed that. Is that also... At that time, you... That's when you put on a hop by doing that. And showed that. Furthermore, if someone wants to go to the...
so it's impossible that someone...
not only that,
so that must...
Please, wait a second! What are you saying? I'm the killer? That's impossible!
it's not literally. Just shows you.
Hey,
Wrong! Just like Akane said,
I agree. It is true.
that slow wit... It's fun in a tournament for social punching bags. I'd easily win for... Eve, how many times do I have to tell you?
What
Do you still believe?
Do you hate me that much?
hey, Hajime!
Can you hold? Well, I know I'm being. I missed all of the critical parts.
What do you...
But still, there. I thought it was suspicious. Investigating this.
Hey.
Well, thanks to that, I've been so focused.
You better not have...
Actually,
Please don't say such
Well, it's nothing big, really.
Dang!
Let's take a look. Regarding the rope, this rope was.
again with the supermarket.
If they got it at the super.
What's wrong?
I want you to take a cloak near the middle of the rope. But why is it like this? And the part of the rope that hung from the
Hey, you're taking too long.
it means what? The killer wrapped the rope around Ibuki's neck, pulled both ends at full strength, and strangled her. The center of the rope is frayed.
Hold on. I've been listening. What exactly did you say to...
Not everyone cooperates just like this.
More importantly, what was all...
And then... Huh? You didn't... Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the still hanging and strangled. The scars they leave would look different too. Scars?
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's... The body at the crime scene... Obviously, we'd assume it...
The Monokuma file copy never specified.
Whoever misunderstood is to blame!
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Still hanging and strangling. The scars they leave would look different too.
Ibuki didn't die. She was strangled to death. Ibuki didn't die. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the still hanging and strangling. The scars they leave. Scars?
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie? The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the... Though hanging and the scars they leave... Scars?
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for some... The body at the crime scene, obviously we'd assume...
The Monokuma file copy.
It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to...
That's basically the... Though hanging and strangling... The scars they leave would look... Scars?
But we believed it was... Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
That must be it! So that's what... You said Ibuki hanged herself. You told us the wrong cause of...
You should have been able to tell the... You, Mikon.
First of all, I'm not a... That's why... You were right.
But even a drunk medical...
I'm not taking her side.
He's totally right.
Mikon nursed me till I got...
Don't you think her devote...
Huh?
And if not, it wouldn't surprise me if...
So Mikon volunteered...
That's a little... I'm not a criminal.
You've got it all wrong. Please forgive me.
I'm sorry. I just can't
Forgiveness...
Well, if that's the truth... But is that real?
You're friggin' annoying! If you...
There's...
Is that really true?
Stop it!
I can't... I don't want to do this either. But I need... You... That's not it.
What?
Huh? I do doubt her. 'Cause... If they're...
Don't say Deeps!
If you want to believe in someone, believe without...
Fine.
Huh? Justifying your actions with fancy... It's all... I'm done with that! You hear me? I'm done! It's not fair. It's not fair. 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 Not fair! Why won't you forgive me? What did I do? Why won't anybody forgive me?
Is acting like this your plus? So
If we don't have it, I'm... This... But still, that's why. We gotta... Hey, Nikon. If you're not the killer... Can you... Wait! Treating me like it's... Yes. Why does everybody always...
Is this Brock?
But the only one who can... So... Why do you get to this place? I'm not the killer!
we can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Is the handbag on her head? Is the hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mikon.
Is that really? You could tell her body type just from that cat, just from that dim. There's no way you'd be able to. So please, Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
We can't think of anybody else who could have filmed it.
Deep is the handbag on her head. Is the hospital gown she would... Or could it be the hospital slipper?
Ibuki and Mikon.
Is that really your... You could tell her body type just from that camera, just from that dip. There's no way you'd be so please her... Hajime, pay close. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake. I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Steve, is the hemp bag on? Is the hospital gap? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mikan.
Is that really your? You could tell her body type and just from that camera angle.
I'll shoot through that contradiction. Mikan, as I said before, but I never. So how can you say anything about the camera?
The only reason is because you're the person.
This is your just reward. You lied.
Is it true, Mikan?
I was.
That's not.
I mean, you know that hemp bag, Ibuki. Ding!
What the heck's wrong with it?
That tote bag.
How do you know so much?
More importantly, Hajime saw it too, didn't you? You remember the whoopsie! Ta-da! So don't you using one it's blatantly that's why that video is so you'll
Taking your stubbornness.
Then you're gonna forgive me? You still haven't forgiven me? Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me! You're done for! Why only me? Please, draw on me! Can you forgive me already? You still haven't forgiven me? Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me! You're done for! Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. Shall I let you punch me? Forgive me! Forgive me! Why only me? You still haven't forgiven me? Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me! You're done for! There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it in two places at the same time! There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it in two places at the same time! You're done for! Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it.
This is the end! Monokuma, then whoever bought that bag, which means it's not so please.
Why can't you forgive me? Why?
It seems.
Why does everybody
Mikan, after I go over your crime from the beginning, please just admit it already. We will never give up! Here's everything that happened in this case. The key to this incident is the surveillance camera video that only I saw. That's why I'm going. When I went to the hospital, the incoming signal. When I switched on the monitor, what appeared on screen was. A person wearing a hospital gown and a bag on their head about... That surveillance camera unit was designed for two... That's why I thought the signal originated from... But that was the... In truth, the killer brought the music venue camera the night before. Then, they... By doing so, when in fact, the person in the footage... I didn't know that, so I went to the music venue and found the hanged body wearing a bag on its head. Seeing the body but, after cleaning the conference and began working on it. First, when I first arrived, I didn't expect it to be slightly. Next, the killer destroyed... After destroying it, the surveillance camera they brought it. They wanted to hide the fact... In the end, the killer, they broke one of the drumsticks from the store. However, in actuality, the reason the killer sealed the door with glue. With that, the killer finished. They helped us for. And they made us discover not at the time. They inside, they were probably. Isn't that right, Mikan?
Whoa! Now she's laughing?
It's been such a long time. This feeling of despair!
Mikan!
Whoa there! It seems your arguments... Now then, who will be chosen? Well now, correct!
Damn it! I won't forgive you!
Hey!
What's going on?
Hey!
Well, that's a...
Hey,
What?
What?
It cannot be!
perhaps... See?
Jeez. Isn't that right? Impossible.
Oh?
Huh?
What I did was for the sake of my beloved.
Huh? Huh?
My beloved was the only one never hated. They forgave me and they gave me. And I loved them with all this is. It's a...
Hey.
Well... How amazing! Could it be?
This is... But... such despair. Don't fuck with me! You Hey. This is bad.
I am Mon.
Hey.
Oh?
Of course not!